You threw away my promotion letter? How could you do that, Mom? I stared at her, heart pounding, disbelief clouding my vision. The small kitchen, where I'd celebrated every minor win, suddenly felt colder, darker. It was a sunny Saturday afternoon. I had rushed home from work, clutching the crisp envelope I'd found in my office mailbox, a letter that could change everything for me. But when I walked through the door, Mom was sitting at the dining table, the letter torn in two, scattered across the surface like broken promises. Her face was calm, almost cold. I did it for you, Jake. That promotion was never meant for you. My world spun. How did this happen? How did the one person I trusted most betray me so completely? My name's Jake Collins, I'm 28, and I've worked in marketing for the last 5 years in Chicago. That promotion meant everything to me. Not just a raise, but a chance to finally move out of my cramped apartment, build a life on my own terms, and maybe even start saving for my own business someday. I remember those late nights vividly. The hum of my laptop, the sharp smell of black coffee, and the feeling of exhaustion weighing down my shoulders. I skipped birthdays, canceled weekend plans, all to prove I deserved this chance. You've got to hustle harder than anyone else, my grandma used to say, sitting in her worn armchair with a warm smile. She believed in me when I barely believed in myself.
But Mom?
Our relationship was complicated. She was always protective, sometimes too much. She had her own ideas of what I should do, sometimes supportive but often controlling. I caught her giving my younger sister a look that said, "She's the golden child." I loved my mom, but I could never shake the feeling that she saw my success as a threat, or maybe even a loss for her. When I was 16, I found my promotion letter hidden in her drawer unopened. She told me, "I'm just trying to protect you from disappointment." That night, I cried on my bedroom floor, feeling both loved and betrayed at once. Now, here I was again, a grown man, with dreams bigger than that small apartment, facing the same cold walls of betrayal I thought I'd left behind. I took a deep breath and reached into my backpack. "Actually, Mom, you might want to take a look at this before we go any further." I pulled out a thick envelope, my lawyer's letter confirming that the apartment I lived in was legally mine, deed and all. I had spent months fighting to transfer ownership into my name, away from my family's tangled control. Her eyes widened, the calm facade cracking for the first time. "Where did you get that?" she asked, voice shaky. I held it steady, feeling a new kind of power surge through me. This place, the promotion, my future, it's all in my hands now. No more secrets, no more control. Mom's face twisted with disbelief, panic creeping in. For once, she wasn't the one holding the power. Mom slammed her hand on the kitchen table, her voice sharp. "You're being selfish, Jake. This was for the family's good. You don't understand what you're throwing away." Her words cut deeper than I expected, but I stood firm.
No, Mom.
I understand exactly what I'm doing. I'm choosing myself for once. She shifted tactics quickly, eyes narrowing. "You think you're so grown up now? You think this promotion changes everything? You're being difficult. This isn't just about you." I clenched my fists, the weight of years of frustration bubbling to the surface. "You threw away my promotion letter. Do you know what that means? You stole my future." Just then, my brother-in-law, Mark, walked in. He cleared his throat awkwardly. "Look, Mom, maybe you should listen to Jake. He's been working his ass off for years." Mom's expression flickered, resentment mixed with doubt. I could see her carefully constructing her next words, but faltering. Mark stepped closer to me, lowering his voice. "You've done more than you realize. I know you wanted to give up sometimes, but you never did. That counts for something." I swallowed the lump in my throat. Mark was the first family member to see me for who I really was, not just Mom's shadow. Mom's voice dropped to a bitter whisper. "You think you're better than us? This is family." I shook my head. Family isn't about control or hiding the truth. It's about respect. And I'm done being the one who's supposed to quietly accept everything. The room grew heavy with silence. I could hear my own heartbeat pounding in my ears as the realization settled. This fight wasn't just about a letter or a desk. It was about reclaiming my voice, my dignity, and my life. Days passed in a blur of tense silences and careful words. Mom barely spoke to me, but I could see the cracks in her armor. She was used to holding the reins, but now she was watching me take the wheel. One afternoon, I found her sitting on the porch steps, looking smaller somehow. I sat beside her quietly. "Mom," I said softly, "I don't want to lose you over this." She looked up, eyes tired but softer.
I was scared, Jake.
Scared that if you left, I'd lose you too. I reached out, touching her hand. "You won't lose me, but I have to live my life, and I have to be in control of it." Over time, we started talking again. Not about control or promotion letters, but about real things, memories, regrets, hopes. I saw her in a new light, a woman who made mistakes but loved fiercely. Meanwhile, Mark stepped up too, supporting me in ways I hadn't expected. He encouraged me to finally buy that office desk I'd always dreamed of, a symbol of my independence and success. When the desk arrived, I invited Mom to see it. "I bought this for you," I told her, "because you deserve a space where you can work too, but on your own terms." Her eyes welled up.
Thank you, Jake.
Maybe this is the start of something better. The shift wasn't overnight, but it was real. I learned that revenge wasn't about breaking people down, it was about building myself up and offering grace when it was due. I also helped Lisa, a coworker struggling with her own family battles, reminding her she had worth and control over her future too. This wasn't just my victory, it was a lesson in strength, forgiveness, and growth. 6 months later, sunlight poured through the large windows of my new office. The desk I bought for Mom stood proudly by the window, bathed in golden light. It wasn't just a piece of furniture, it was a symbol of how far we'd come. The apartment had changed too. Walls I once thought cold and confining now felt warm and inviting, filled with laughter and shared stories. Mom had started her own small consulting business, working from that desk, slowly rebuilding her own dreams alongside mine. At a weekend brunch, Mark raised his glass. "To Jake, who taught us all what it means to fight for yourself without losing your family." Mom smiled genuinely, a softness in her eyes I hadn't seen in years. "Your grandma was right," she said quietly. "You did hustle harder than anyone else." I thought back to those words, feeling a deep sense of peace. The lessons she passed down, the resilience, the courage to stand up, had carried me through the darkest moments. Now I was building more than a career. I was building a legacy of honesty, respect, and love. A community where power didn't mean control, but support. As I looked out at the bustling city beyond, the morning sun cast long shadows and warmed the air. Flowers bloomed on the windowsill, and the faint smell of coffee filled the room, reminders that every new day was a chance to grow, to forgive, and to thrive. The past was behind me. The future was mine.